Hi, thanks, Zoom lady. Fuck. Hi.
That's staying in.
Phenomenal.
Take two. Hello, and welcome to this. This is something we wanted to do for some bonus content. Just do some live readings of things that already exist. So I took a really bad transcription of a movie that I love so much. I put in a bunch of action directions and stuff, and cast it with some people here. And so we're going to do a live reading of Atlantis, the Lost Empire. Whoa!
Wow.
I'm very excited, can't you tell?
And I will say before we get in, just because to get the legal stuff out of the way, this is a fair use thing under the it's safe copyright. We're reading something, it's very transformative. We've used our own action words. We've done a very nice transformative thing with some of the world building. And
we'll make it nice.
Yeah, this is not at all a substitute for the actual product of watching Atlantis, the Lost Empire.
I don't know.
If you got confused, thank you.
Hey.
Gotta get that out of the way. So, with that out of the way, let's just go ahead and introduce people and like one or two of the roles you're playing, like the big ones, the ones with real proper names. So hi, I'm Dio, and for tonight I will be voicing Cookie and Rourke.
Awesome. Wait, now who goes?
Wait, I don't know. Next. I'll go.
I'm not a director. Somebody tell me what to do.
Hello, I am Toan, and I will be playing the role of Joshua Sweet and also Preston Whitmore.
Aren't you also playing Mole now?
I'm also playing Mo.
I got you. Okay.
Meg, tell us who you're playing.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh. Hi, my name is Megan, and I'm playing... God, what's his name? Milo Thatch.
Lots of smudged writing on hands.
Milo Thatch.
Milo Cratch.
Milo Crotch. Oh, that was juvenile. It was worth it.
Yep.
That is our leading boy for the night, folks.
This is the energy we are bringing for this read-through, folks.
And speaking of leads, Naomi, who are you voicing?
Hi, I'm Naomi, and I'm voicing Kita and Packard. And I might have COVID, so I'll be leaning into Packard.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it works.
Okay, I guess I'll go. Hi, I'm Jessica, Jessie, whatever. And I will be playing the true star of this film, Voice on Phone. But
Movie should be called Voice on Phone.
But more specifically,
Voice on Phone, the lost telephone, the lost connection. Oh shit!
But really, I will be playing the King of Atlantis, as well as reading a whole mess of stage directions. So, basically fulfilling the god role that I usually do. So, yeah.
Elena, who are you voicing? Oh, James, no, I'm sorry. I cut you off.
Wow.
The one time I tried to jump in.
We almost had Zoom drift compatibility.
Do it, James.
That's me. I'm James. I'm also Jamie. I'm whatever you want. I'm some guy called Vinny.
James,
My
for
cousin
the record,
Vinny?
James has never seen this movie.
Yeah.
She literally just messaged me. Was like, "Hey, I want to voice Vinny because I like his name," and I was like, "Sick, you got it, dude."
That's me, baby.
It's so hilarious because I was sitting here looking at that casting and be like, "Oh, that was a perfect choice."
Oh. Great. I'm so excited.
I'm excited to see what you do with it.
All right, I guess I'll jump in. I'm Lena, and I'm voicing the Queen of Atlantis and the best character, Audrey.
My wife. Sorry, Sorry, you are voicing Audrey. Sorry, I cut you off.
My wife.
I feel like you just said Audrey is your wife, and
Yes.
I mean, that's fine too.
Audrey was like that character that made a lot of people realize in like 2001 that tomboys were like,
Yeah.
Maria.
Hi, I'm Maria, and I'm going to be voicing Helga. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will say really quickly that I told everybody this before, Dio, but I was this close to freaking messaging you out of nowhere a couple days ago, being like, Dio, I don't mean to push your casting choices because this is your thing, but can Maria be Helga? And then I bit my tongue. And then when I saw that it actually happened, I was so happy.
It came down to, okay, so I have Kida, Helga Sinclair, and Packard, and I had Naomi and Maria, and I was like, okay, how do I want to do this?
How do you want to do?
And I'm pretty happy with the choice I made. I'm very excited to see how everyone does. So yeah, we'll go ahead and get started here in a second. I will say one more quick thing. Atlantis: The Lost Empire is a great movie for world building. It fleshes out a lot of this version of Atlantis really well. I like that it's not Greco-Roman. I think that's tight. They put in the legwork to make a really, really intricate fictional language, which is very difficult to do. Anyone who knows Star Fox Adventures knows how difficult it is to make a convincing sounding fake language. Eat Naruto, general skills. It's bad. So they did a great job, but unfortunately, there's just not a very good transcription of some of the stuff they say in Atlantean. There's no way for us to say the lines without being like, this is in Atlantean, and then we just say it in English. So in order to get the gist across that we're speaking another language, but still hopefully so some of you guys can get it, I changed. I'm not going to put the guilt on anyone else here. I changed the lines that are spoken in Atlantean to be in Pig Latin.
Yes,
It's
the most lost of languages.
It is an utmost bastardization of a really beautiful fictional language. Again, not a substitute for the movie. Go watch it. It's tight as hell. But that's that. So does anyone else have anything they want to throw in?
Hi.
You're gonna love it. It's gonna be a wild ride.
You're gonna love
it. I guarantee it.
Even though Jess is going to be doing quite a bit of the stage directions, I decided to lead off since we start this movie in Atlantis, and she's going to be our king. So, without further ado, let's begin our reading of Atlantis: The Lost Empire. We open on a black backdrop with an exerted text on the screen. In a single day and night of misfortune, the island of Atlantis disappeared into the depths of the sea. Plato, 360 BCE. On the horizon on the sea, an explosion of light appears in the distance. A fleet of people fleeing in vehicles resembling fish flee this explosion as it is followed by a large tidal wave.
Uye, ulse, uye estroide aswe alwe.
Ide evwe iswe eninge. Iwe have ote armway Atlantis way.
Ute etele.
The tidal wave consumes many of the Atlanteans fleeing as others speed forward towards the city of Atlantis. As they approach the city, we see the sky begin to grow dark, blotted out both by the tidal wave and the growing storm clouds. Seeing the impending threat, a watchman begins speaking into a horn-shaped device that projects his voice over the city. Everyone way ute ide eltershe! Everyone way ute ide eltershe! Two Atlantean men begin hitting a large bell with hammers, a warning signal. As we see chaos and panic in the streets, an Atlantean guard beckons to the royal family, the King of Atlantis, the Queen of Atlantis, and Kida. Toan, you're muted.
Sorry. Iste away. Oh yeah. Highness iklikwe.
Ideke, omeke onwe.
As the queen pulls her daughter away, Kida drops her doll.
Ideke, usche libe itwe. Eriste onete imete.
Suddenly, a blue beam of light lands on the queen, and her eyes and the crystal she wears around her neck begin to glow a light blue. Her gaze becomes distant and fixed on the source of this light. The king turns and in his shock when he sees several more beams converge on this first. The queen's crystal burns ever brighter as she is lifted off of the ground in a trance. As she is lifted, her hand pulls the bracelet off of young Kida, who attempts to reach out to her mother as she ascends ever higher.
Other May! Other May! Other May!
Kida falls to the ground, crying, arms and hands still pointing up towards her mother. We cut to the outside of the city as large stone humanoid statues create a glowing blue force field, protecting those in the city, but preventing any others from entering. The tidal wave begins destroying the outskirts of the city as those Atlanteans stuck outside the force field look on in terror. Cut back to Kita calling to her mother. The king kneels onto the ground and wraps his arms around his daughter.
Uskle oye aizwe irake. Ukle awewe.
We see a view of the sky from the ground, a large ball of light blue energy with a ring of that same energy spinning quickly around it as the force field closes and converges over top of it. As soon as the force field fully closes, there is a burst of light, and the part of Atlantis within the force field begins sinking below the surface, just as the massive tidal wave collides with it, dooming the rest of Atlantis to a watery grave. The water closes in around the city. We fade to black, and we see the title, Atlantis, the Lost Empire. Cut to Washington, D.C., 1914. Establishing shot of the outside of a very nice building, a museum. We then cut into a room in that museum to see Milo Thatch giving some sort of presentation in front of a map and a blackboard. We see silhouettes of heads and mustaches and top hats. It's 1914, you know the type. Milo uses visual aids throughout this bit, but I am not going to narrate all of them. He is a thorough boy who has great flashcards.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. First off, I'd like to thank this board for taking the time to hear my proposal. Now, we've all heard of the legend of Atlantis, a continent somewhere in the mid-Atlantic that was home to an advanced civilization, possessing technology far beyond our own. That, according to our friend Plato here, was suddenly struck by some cataclysmic event that sank it beneath the sea. Now, some of you may ask, why Atlantis? It's a myth, isn't it? Pure fantasy. Well, that is where you'd be wrong. 10,000 years before the Egyptians built the pyramids, Atlantis already had electricity, advanced medicine, even the power of flight. Impossible, you say? Well, no, not for them. Numerous ancient cultures all over the globe agree that Atlantis possessed a power source of some kind, more powerful than steam, than coal, more powerful than our modern internal combustion engines. Gentlemen, I propose that we find Atlantis, find that power source, and bring it back to the surface. Now, this is a page from an illuminated text that describes a book called The Shepherd's Journal, said to have been a first-hand account of Atlantis and its exact whereabouts. Now, based on a centuries-old translation of a Norse text, historians have believed that the journal resides in Ireland. But after comparing the text to the runes of this Viking shield that I found, one of the letters had been mistranslated. So, by changing this letter and inserting the correct one, we find that the Shepherd's Journal, the key to Atlantis, lies not in Ireland, gentlemen, but Iceland. Pause for effect. I hope that's a line. Gentlemen, I'll take your questions now.
A telephone begins ringing behind the blackboard.
Would you gentlemen please excuse me for a moment?
As the phone continues to ring, Milo climbs over the blackboard, causing it to rotate back towards the desk where the phone is. He lies on the now horizontal blackboard as he answers the phone.
Cardiography and linguistics, Milo Thatch speaking. Yeah, just a second.
Milo pushes off the blackboard, causing it to rotate to its backside where a map with grid lines has been drawn. Milo turns on the backlight of the room to reveal the silhouettes we saw were actually head-shaped artifacts with top hats. Milo lifts one of them out of the way to reach the boiler in the very back of the room.
Pardon me, Mr. Hickenbottom.
When he reaches the boiler, Milo turns some valves, causing it to hiss. Milo then smacks the boiler with a wrench, which causes it to fire back up. Milo lies back over the blackboard to pick the phone back up.
How's that? Is that better? Uh-huh. Yeah, you're welcome. All right, bye.
Milo slides back down the blackboard, and we see that a portion of the map drawn on the board has rubbed off and is on his vest. He goes back to giving his presentation.
Now, as you can see by by this map that that I've drawn, I plotted the route that I will take myself and a crew to the southern coast of Iceland to retrieve the journal.
Wow, it's like Michael J. Fox is here. A cuckoo
He
clock
wishes he was me.
cuckoos. A cuckoo clock cuckoos 4 times, signifying the time as Milo dusts chalk from himself.
Ah, showtime.
He scoops up an armful of books and rolled up papers.
Well, this is it. I am finally getting out of the dungeon.
Milo picks up a framed photo of a much younger version of himself and an old man, his grandfather, who wears a typical explorer outfit a la Teddy Roosevelt, complete with a large Spith helmet. As Milo smiles at the picture warmly, we see it begin to move as we enter a short flashback. Milo's grandfather lifts the young Milo up on his lap and places the Spith helmet onto his head. The young Milo eagerly smiles with the helmet on before it sinks over his eyes. Back in the present, Milo opens a small cabinet to reveal the same Spith helmet. He places it on his head with a smile before it again sinks over his eyes. Suddenly there is a whoosh and a thunk from a pneumatic tube delivering a letter to Milo. Milo lifts the helmet, opens the tube, and reads the letter.
Dear Mr. Thatch, this is to inform you that your meeting today has been moved up from 4:30 p.m. to 3:30 p.m.
Looking over to the clock, and no surprise to those observant ones who remembered the cuckoo clock, it is a few minutes past 4.
What?
Another whoosh, thunk, and a letter.
Dear Mr. Thatch, due to your absence, the board has voted to reject your proposal. Have a nice weekend. Mr. Harcourt's office, they can't do this to me.
We cut to a large, fancy hallway. A door opens up and a group of old white men with fancy suits, hats, and facial hair all walk out. These are the museum's board members. Board member 1.
I
Toan?
swear that young Thatch gets crazier every year, and I know how to speak.
Okay. If I ever hear the word Atlantis again, I'll step in front of a bus.
Toan, you're muted.
Oh, and I clicked it off. I'll push you.
Mr. Harcourt,
Good Lord, there he is.
members of the board, wait.
How did you find us? The board members begin running throughout the hallway, locking themselves in rooms, incidentally locking Mr. Harcourt out.
Mr. Harcourt, wait.
Head for the hills.
Where's the guard when you need him?
Mr. Harcourt, you gotta listen to me, sir.
Having no rooms to hide in, Mr. Harcourt hides behind a small, very skinny tree, a tree that very obviously could not hide a person. Milo approaches this ingenious hiding spot.
Sir?
Harcourt opens his umbrella at Milo and then runs off to the exit outside and into his car, quickly pursued by Milo.
Wait, Mr. Harcourt, sir, I have new evidence that, please, Mr. Harcourt, stop.
Milo shoves papers into the car window, opens a map in front of the car, and begins to try to give some sort of a presentation.
Sir, if you could hold, thank you very much. Look at.
This museum funds scientific expeditions based on fact, not legends and folklore. Besides, we need you here. We depend on you.
You do?
Well, yes, with winter coming, that boiler's going to need a lot of attention.
Boiler?
Onward, Hines.
Hines, Harcourt's driver, begins driving the car away from the museum. Milo, ever determined, begins chasing after the car, fumbling through his maps to salvage any presentation from this.
But there's a journal. It's in Iceland. I'm sure of it this time.
Harcourt closes the curtains over his car window because it's an old car, and we hear a thud as we see Milo is lying against the windshield of the car.
Sir, I really hoped it wouldn't come to this, but this is a letter of resignation. If you reject my proposal, I'll...
Hines jerks the car and Milo is thrown off it onto the ground.
Whoa! I'll quit!
The car stops, backs up, and Harcourt opens his curtains and is looking down on Milo.
I mean it, sir. If you refuse to fund my proposal...
You'll what? Flush your career down the toilet just like your grandfather? You have a lot of potential, Milo. Don't throw it all away chasing fairy tales.
But I can prove that Atlantis exists.
You want to go on an expedition?
Here, he throws a coin at the ground by Milo. Take a trolley to the Potomac. Jump in. Maybe the cold water will clear your head. Heinz. Harcourt sputters away in his old-ass car. Cut to Milo entering his dark apartment, covered in water with background thunder noise. This boy was rained on. That's important. He didn't actually jump in the river.
Aw. I'm home. Fluffy? Here, kitty.
He starts pulling the chain on his light bulb, but it won't turn on. With a flash of lightning, we see the most attractive woman ever animated. Tall, blonde, a small mole under her left eye, in a black dress and a large fur draped over her shoulders.
Milo James Thatch.
Who are you? How did you get in here?
I came down the chimney. Ho, ho, ho. My name is Helga Sinclair. I'm acting on behalf of my employer, who has a most intriguing proposition for you. Are you interested?
Your employer? Who is your employer?
With another flash of lightning, we cut outside in the rain to a large gate with the letter W atop it. Helga is driving Milo in her car past the gate where we see a large nameplate that says Whitmore. They drive up a long, fancy brick driveway to a large mansion. They enter the main hall where a butler takes their coats, and Milo is immediately interested in the artifacts and ancient suits of armor decorating the hall.
This way, please, and don't drip on the Caravaggio. Step lively. Mr. Whitmore does not like to be kept waiting.
Helga ushers Milo into an elevator at the end of the hallway. The elevator begins descending, and Helga begins straightening Milo's hair and outfit as she gives instructions.
You will address him as Mr. Whitmore or Sir. You will stand unless asked to be seated. Keep your sentences short and to the point. Are we clear?
No.
Good job. They reach their floor, and the elevator opens up to reveal a lavishly decorated room with a very high ceiling, fancy furniture, a large fireplace, and walls adorned with more antiques. Milo exits the elevator, but Helga stays.
And relax. He doesn't bite. Often.
She closes the elevator doors and begins ascending. Milo moves forward, and his eyes wander to all of the antiques, books, and portraits covering the room. His eyes stop on a large portrait over the mantel. It is a painting of Milo's grandfather shaking hands with another old man in a brown suit. Though he is bald on the top of his head, the hair on the side of his head and his beard are both very angular and crazy.
Grandpa?
Finest explorer I ever met.
We see the old man from the painting sitting on the ground in a blue bathrobe, one leg fully behind his head doing some sort of yoga.
Preston Whitmore. Pleasure to meet you, Milo.
Mr. Whitmore proceeds to shake Milo's hand with his foot and pops his neck a few times with his other foot. This is a cartoon. Throughout this scene, he will continue to do weird yoga stuff.
Oh, join me in a little yoga?
No, thank you. Did you really know my grandfather?
Oh, yeah. That old Thaddeus back in Georgetown, class of 66. We stayed close friends to the end of his days. Rest his soul. He even dragged me along on some of his dang fool expeditions. That was a crazy fruit bat he was. He spoke of you often.
Funny, he never mentioned you.
Oh, he didn't. He knew how much I liked my privacy.
Upon saying this, Mr. Whitmore goes into a headstand, and we see his robe fall down, giving Milo, though blissfully not us, a view of his old man junk.
I keep a low profile.
That's
Mr.
what he calls
Whitmore.
it, a low profile.
Thoughts? Ratings?
Something's low. Mr. Whitmore, should I be wondering why I'm here?
Look on that table. It's for you.
Milo picks up a rectangular, suspiciously book-shaped package from the table, covered in paper with words, "For Milo, with love, Thaddeus Thatch."
It's from my grandfather.
He brought that package to me years ago, said if anything were to happen to him, I should give it to you, and only when you were ready. What if that means?
Milo opens the package to reveal a brown book. It says brown. That's oops. A brown book.
Brown.
Symbol on the cover.
I gotcha, Milo.
It was poop.
Anyway, it's a book. It's got a nice ancient symbol on the cover.
It can't be. It's the Shepherd's Journal, Mr. Whitmore. This journal is the key to finding the lost continent of Atlantis.
Atlantis. I wasn't born yesterday, son.
No. Look at this. Coordinates, clues. It's all right here.
Yeah, looks like gibberish to me.
Oh, shoot. Mr. Whitmore steps behind a changing fold and throws his robe over it like a showgirl after a performance.
That's because it's been written in a dialect that no longer exists.
So it's useless.
No, just difficult. I've spent my whole life studying dead languages. It's not gibberish to me.
Mr. Whitmore steps out in a nice white suit with a cane and adjusts his tie.
It's probably fake then.
Mr. Whitmore, my grandfather would have known if this were a fake. I would know. I will stake everything I own, everything that I believe in, that this is the genuine Shepherd's Journal.
All right. So what do you want to do with it?
Mr. Whitmore leads Milo over to a long table in front of a massive fish tank.
Well, I'll get funding. I mean, the museum.
They'll never believe you.
I'll show them. I will make them believe.
Like you did today.
Yes. Well, no. How did you forget about them? Okay, never mind. I will find Atlantis on my own. I mean, if I have to rent a rowboat.
Congratulations, Milo. This is exactly what I wanted to hear. But forget the rowboat, son. We'll travel in style.
Mr. Whitmore presses a button and a set of vehicle models rise up from below the table. Among them is a large hot air balloon, a large vehicle with a drill on the front of it, several small submarines, one massive by scale submarine with a large orange glass circle in the front.
It's all been arranged, the whole ball of wax.
Why?
For years, your granddad bent my ear with stories about that old book. I didn't buy it for a minute. So I finally got fed up and made a bet with the old coot. I said, Thatch, if you ever actually find that so-called journal, not only will I finance the exposition, but I'll kiss you full on the mouth with tongue. Imagine my embarrassment when he found the darn thing.
Mr. Whitmore shows Milo a framed picture of the two old men reacting with disgusted expressions following a presumed kiss. But this begs the question, why did he frame the picture of them immediately post-kiss? Because of the way cameras work at this time, one can only assume they were trying to get a photo of the kiss itself, which just raises so many other questions. I am sorry for hijacking this scene.
They were just friends.
I'm just saying that it definitely sounds like they were indeed good friends until the end of his days.
Good friends.
Oh, yeah.
Step grandpa?
Now I know your grandfather's gone, Milo. God rest his soul and his... But Preston Whitmore is a man who keeps his word.
Whitmore then stands below his fireplace, addressing the portrait of he and Thaddeus directly above it.
Hear that, Thatch? I'm going to the afterlife with a clear conscience, by thunder! Your grandpa was a great man.
And a better kisser.
You probably don't realize how great and how much better. Those buffoons at the museum dragged him down, made a laughingstock of him, died a broken man. If I could bring back just one shred of proof, that'd be enough for me. Ah, Thatch. What are we standing around for? We've got work to do.
But
that scene in the movie gives off gay vibes, and I love it.
Oh, yeah.
It's because they were roommates.
It's because they were roommates.
Oh my God, they were roommates.
The whole time.
But Mr. Whitmore, in order to do what you're proposing, you're going to need a crew.
Taken care of.
You'll need engineers and geologists.
Got them all, the best of the best.
Mr. Whitmore begins showing off pictures and documents of various people who will be part of this crew. I didn't describe them here because we're getting reintroduced to them later.
Gaetan Moliere, geology and excavation. The man has a nose for dirt. Vincenzo Santorini, demolitions. Busted him out of a Turkish prison. Andre Ramirez, don't let her age fool you. She's forgotten more about engines than you or I ever will know.
It's a weird line.
Yeah. They're the same crew that brought that journal back.
Where was it?
Iceland.
I knew it. I knew it.
All we need now is your expert in gibberish. So it's decision time. You can build on the foundation your grandfather left you, or you can go back to your boiler room.
This is for real.
Now you're catching on.
All right. Okay. I'll have to quit my job.
It's done. You resigned this afternoon.
I did?
Yep. Don't like to leave loose ends.
My apartment. I have to give notice.
Taken care of.
My clothes?
Packed.
My books?
Read them and they're in storage.
My cat?
We hear a meow as Fluffy climbs over Milo's back. Milo begins petting his little kitty.
My gosh.
Your granddad had a saying, our lives are remembered by the gifts we leave our children. This journal is his gift to you, Milo. Atlantis is waiting. What do you say?
I'm your man, Mr. Whitmore. You will not regret this. Boy, I am so excited. I can't even hold it in.
And we're going to transition with a ship's horn and transition over to Jess reading the stage
there.
directions.
Yeah, thank God. Okay. I was like, things are about to get real complicated.
I really wanted to narrate that thing that I wrote for the Harcourt scene.
Oh, did you? I had no idea.
Did.
I wonder why.
It's my headcanon, that's why.
Yep.
Fair.
More like normal canon.
I was going to
True.
say, wait.
Subtextual canon. Still
yes.
canon.
I wonder though, should we actually take a little commercial break?
Oh yeah, this is a big scene. We're getting introduced to a lot of people. So
oh yeah.
If we want to take a quick commercial break with 5 minutes left on the Zoom call.
There go.
What'll happen next?
Transition with a ship's horn. I'm reading stage directions now. We see Milo outside on the deck of a ship at sea, puking.
Carrots. Why is it always carrots? I didn't even eat carrots.
Milo starts walking through the lower deck of the ship with a lot of activity going on, with a lot of people and vehicles, as an old lady's voice comes over the PA.
Attention, all hands to the launch bay. To whoever took the L from the motor pool sign, ha ha, we are all very amused.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, we're all just blown away. Don't mind us.
Okay. Milo reaches a woman whose back is to him and who looks to be in charge of whatever is going on.
Excuse me? I need to report in.
The woman turns around and it is Helga Sinclair, now wearing a long-sleeve black turtleneck style shirt, her hair tied back with green pants and a gun holstered at her hip. Currently over that, she is wearing a large green overcoat. Hot.
Yes, Mr. Thatch.
It's you.
From off screen, an old man in a chuck wagon descends while said wagon is moved by a crane. He wears a gray shirt with rolled up sleeves, overalls, and a bowler hat with a red feather covering his bald spot. Or red hat with a red feather covering his bald spot. This is Cookie, the cook of this expedition team. Ugh.
Blondie, I got a bone to pick with you.
Hold that thought. What is it this time, Cookie?
You done stuffed my wagon full to busting with non-essentials. Look at all this. Cinnamon, oregano, cilantro. What in the cockadoodle is cilantro? What is this?
That would be lettuce.
Lettuce? Lettuce?
It's a vegetable, Cookie. The men need the 4 basic food groups.
I got your 4 basic food groups: beans, bacon, whiskey, and lard.
A warning alarm starts sounding, signifying they will be moving out soon. Wee woo, wee woo, wee.
All right, cowboy, pack it up and move it out.
No.
Attention, all hands to the launch bay. Final loading in progress.
Milo loads onto a large elevator with a group of men in military fatigues. As the elevator reaches the bottom, we see the massive submarine from Mr. Whitmore's models. We now see that the orange sphere is actually all windows from the bridge of the ship. People and trucks are all moving into the submarine in preparation for launch. As Milo walks towards the ship, he is bumped from behind by a cart full of explosives. Pushing the cart is an Italian man with a flat top haircut and a thick mustache, also hot. He is wearing a thick black sweater with a metal breastplate over it. Sticking out of his mouth is a single match. This is Vincenzo Santorini, Vinny, the demolitions expert for this expedition. Gah!
Hey, Junior, if you're looking for the pony rides, they're back there.
Excuse me? You dropped your dynamite. What else have you got in there?
Oh, gunpowder, nitroglycerin, notepads, fuses, Wix glue, and paper clips. Big ones, just office supplies.
Mr. Whitmore approaches Milo with another man, a tall, well-built white man in his 50s wearing military fatigues.
Hello, where have you been? Want you to meet Commander Rook. He held the Iceland team that brought the journal back.
Milo Thatch. Pleasure to meet the grandson of old Thaddeus. I see you got that journal. Nice pictures, but I prefer a good Western myself.
Pretty impressive, eh?
Boy, when you settle a bet, you settle a bet.
Well, your granddad always believed you couldn't put a price on the pursuit of knowledge.
Well, believe me, this isn't going to be a small change compared to the value of what we're going to learn on this trip.
Yes, this should be enriching for all of us.
Attention all personnel. Launch will commence in 15 minutes.
Rourke begins boarding the ship, Milo following close behind.
Mr. Whitmore?
Rourke?
It's time.
Bye, Mr. Whitmore.
Make us proud, boy!
We now begin the launch sequence with Rourke and his lieutenant, Helga, on the bridge giving orders.
Rig ship for dive!
Aye, sir, rig ship for dive! Lieutenant, take her down.
Diving officer, submerge the ship. Make the depth 150 feet.
Aye, make the depth 150 feet.
Dive. 5 degrees down bubble.
Take us down.
Take us down. A siren buzzes as the chains that held the sub release it, and it makes sinking below the surface of the water. Or begins sinking below the surface of the water. As Mr. Whitmore gives a thumbs up to the people on the bridge, he crosses his fingers behind his back. The sub begins sinking further and further down into the ocean. The expedition to find Atlantis, the Lost Empire, and that's the title of the film, has begun. Scene change as Milo hauls his bags into his quarters and lies in bed.
Attention. Tonight's supper will be baked beans. Musical program to follow. Who wrote this?
As Milo lies in bed relaxing, a pair of large goggles with extending lenses like a pair of magnifying glasses peer at him from the top bunk. Attached to the goggles is a lamp, which the person wearing this strange choice of accessory turns on, startling Milo and causing him to hit his head on the top bunk.
Yeah.
You'll have to start the dirt.
Excuse the fuck out of me.
You'll have to start the dirt!
The person speaking to Milo jumps down from the top bunk, and we finally get a full look at this interesting character. He is a short, rotund Frenchman with heavy stubble and a thin mustache, the French one. He wears a large gray overcoat with large fur collar. We see those strange goggles are also attached to a helmet that looks like something like a leather aviator hat. Hot. This is Gaetan Moliere, Mole, the geology and excavation expert on this expedition.
From around the globe, spanning centuries, what have you done? England must never murder France.
What's it doing in my bed?
You ask too many questions. Who are you? Who sent you? Speak up.
Me? I'm,
Bah, I will know soon enough.
Hey, let go.
Don't be such a crybaby. Hold still.
Mole plucks a piece of dirt from underneath one of Milo's fingernails with a pair of tweezers.
Aha! There you are. Now, tell me your story, my little friend.
Mole cranks a handle on his goggles that zoom the lenses into this small speck.
Sutelors, parchment fiber from the Nile, circa 500 BC, lead pencil number 2, paint flecks of the type of used in government buildings. You have a cat, short-haired Persian, 2 years old, third in the letter of 7. There are the microscopic fingerprints of a map maker and linguist.
Hey, how did you...
This is an outrage! You must leave at once! Out!
As Mole shoves Milo out of the room, they bump into the most attractive man ever animated. That's not really much of a lie. No, that's not a lie. We see a half black, half native man, taller and more well-built than Commander Rourke in his early 40s. He is currently shirtless with a towel draped over his neck. Do I even have to say it?
Oy, 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 oy.
Uh-oh, sat in the dirt, didn't you? Well, yeah, now what have I told you? Well, yeah, now what have I told you about playing nice with the other kids? Get back! I got soap and I'm not afraid to use it. Back, foul creature, back to the pit from which you came.
Mole retreats back into his top bunk. We see his goggled eyes and headlamp peering out from his sheets.
The name's Sweet. Joshua Sweet, medical officer.
Yeah, Milo Thatch.
Milo Thatch. You're my 3 o'clock. Well, no time like the present.
Sweet approaches his medical bag, throws on a lab coat and a head mirror, and pulls a big grizzly-looking bone saw from the bag.
Oh boy.
Nice, isn't it? The catalog says this little beauty can saw through a femur in 28 seconds. I'm betting I can cut that time in half.
Sweet puts his saw back in his bag, grabs a tongue depressor, thermometer, and stethoscope, and just starts an expedited medical examination in the living quarters.
Now stick out your tongue and say ah.
Oh no, really? I have
So where are you from? Really? I have family up that way. Beautiful country up there. Do you do any fishing?
Oh yeah.
Me? I hate fishing. I hate fish. Hate the taste. Hate the smell. Hate all them little bones.
Sweet pulls out 2 large beakers.
Here, I'm gonna need you to fill these up.
With what?
Will Milo Thatch please report to the bridge?
Thank you. I mean, nice meeting you.
Uh-huh. Nice meeting you too.
Scene transition to the bridge of the ship where Wilhelmina Packard, the team's communications officer, is currently on a personal call. Packard is an elderly, sarcastic chain smoker with, according to the wiki, 8 ex-husbands.
I get around.
They aged like wine.
So I says to him, "What's wrong with my meatloaf?" And he says to me, "Oh, hold on a second, Margie. I got another call. Sir, we're approaching coordinates." Hello, Margie? Yeah, so anyways, he says,
All right, let's have a look around.
Aye, sir. Set course to 240, 15 degrees down angle on the bow planes. Come right, 240.
Oh, aye, sir.
Welcome to the bridge, Mr. Thatch. Okay, everybody, I want you to give Mr. Thatch your undivided attention.
Good afternoon. Can everyone hear me okay?
Dead silence from the crowd gathered before him. Next to Vinny, we see a young Latina woman around 17 to 18 years old in a white shirt, large suspenders, large mechanic gloves, and a flat mechanic hat. She may be a minor, so I'm not going to say, This is
the show's very ambiguous about it.
Yeah, it really is. This is Audrey Ramirez, the chief engineer on this expedition. Audrey simply blows a bubble in her bubble gum, very disinterested like everyone else.
Okay. How about some slides? The first slide is a depiction of a creature. A creature so frightening that sailors were said to be driven mad by the mere sight of it.
Milo places the first slide into the projector, and the creature in the picture is Milo on the beach wearing a swimsuit with flippers, water wings, goggles, an inner tube with a dinosaur head and tail, and a fishing pole. Upon seeing this, there is some chuckling in the room.
Hubba hubba.
I'm sorry, that's wrong.
Jeez. I used to take lunch money from guys like this.
Anyways, this okay, this is an illustration of the Leviathan, a creature, the creature guarding the entrance to Atlantis.
The correct slide this time is an ancient depiction of a giant lobster-looking creature destroying a boat.
With something like that, I would have white wine, I think.
It's a mythical sea serpent. He's described in the book of Job. The Bible says, quote, "Out of his mouth go burning lights, sparks of fire shoot out." But more likely it's a carving or a sculpture to frighten the superstitious.
So we find this masterpiece, then what?
And do we dig?
Actually, we don't have to dig. You see, according to the journal, the path to Atlantis will take us down a tunnel at the bottom of the ocean, and we'll come up a curve into an air pocket right here, where we'll find the remains of an ancient highway that will lead us to Atlantis, kind of like the grease trap in your sink.
Cartographer, linguist, plumber. Hard to believe he's still single.
You said there wouldn't be digging.
Go away, Mo.
Captain, you'd better come look at this, sir.
Okay, class dismissed. Give me exterior lights.
The exterior lights of the sub turn on, and we see piles of shipwreckage littering the ocean floor.
Look at that.
There are ships here from every era.
As we see the submarine move through the water, we see something in the foreground move suddenly. We see the outline of a large lobster-like creature swim under the submarine. Wow, I wonder what that is. And we hear a loud and low rumble come from it. Back inside the sub, Packard picks up something strange on the radio.
Amanda, I think you should hear this.
Enter way eithe airlay of way eithe Leviathan lay.
Commander.
Enter the lair of the Leviathan.
Commander.
There you will find the path to the gateway.
Commander.
Yes, Mrs. Packard, what is it?
I'm picking up something on the hydrophone I think you should hear.
Put it on the speakers.
Packard flips a switch, and the speakers play a loud and low groaning and rumbling sound. The present crew all look very unsettled by whatever this sound is. On the exterior view of the sub, we see what we now know to be the Leviathan moving in the background out of the crew's sight.
What is it, a pot of whales?
Bigger.
It sounds metallic. Could be an echo off one of the rocks.
Do you want to do my job? Be my guest.
Is it just me, or is that getting louder?
The noise stops.
Well, whatever it was, it's gone now.
Helmsman, bring us about. Tighten our search pattern and slow us to...
There's a large crash as something rams the ship, and the crew is all knocked back by the sudden collision. The Leviathan has started attacking the ship. In the ship's engines, we see Audrey running through her team.
Out of the way!
While we see the Leviathan strike the sub again, and Audrey sees water begin to enter into the ship's engine compartments.
Tell Cookie to melt the butter and break out the bibs. I want this lobster served on a silver platter.
Load the torpedo bays, sub-pod crews, battle stations.
Battle stations!
The ship is rammed again as several characters, including Mole and Vinny, begin loading into sub-pods to battle the Leviathan. Once in the pods, Rourke speaks to them over the radio.
Steady, boys. Don't panic.
The Leviathan grabs the sub in its massive claws, and Milo is thrown onto the glass of the front window and sees a glowing mechanical eye that focuses in on him.
Jiminy Christmas! It's a machine!
Back in engineering, Audrey begins closing a door to prevent the water from flooding in further, as several engineers try to make it in before it is closed.
Wait! Launch sub-pods!
Sub-pods away!
The sub-pods eject from the sub and begin swarming the Leviathan in formation.
Oh!
The sub-pods all open fire on the Leviathan, which then loosens its grip on the ship.
We're free. All ahead full.
The ship pulls ahead as the subpods continue to swarm and distracts the Leviathan. A couple of them are destroyed by it.
Fire torpedoes!
Fire torpedoes!
Torpedoes are launched at the Leviathan, and it retaliates by charging and firing some sort of energy beam that punches directly through the starboard hull of the submarine. Audrey runs through ricocheting bolts before coming topside to the top of engineering.
Get me the bridge!
Sir, it's engineering on 4.
Rourke, we need to, we took a big hit down here and we're taking on water fast. I don't want to be around when it hits the boilers.
How much time do we have?
20 minutes if the bulkhead holds.
There's a large clanging sound off screen.
Better make that 5.
You heard the lady, let's move.
Crew members begin evacuating the bridge, and one crew member starts pushing Milo along as well.
Move? Where? Move where?
Packard, sound the alarm.
He took his suitcase? Marge, honey, I don't think he's coming back.
Packard!
I have to call you back. No, I'll call you.
Alarms are sounding as Milo, Audrey, Sweet, and others run through the ship towards escape pods.
All hands, abandon ship.
As they reach a pod that Lieutenant Sinclair is loading.
Move it, people. Sometime today would be nice. Come on, everybody grab a seat and buckle in.
Lieutenant, get us out of here.
As the ship begins to sink further, the release switch won't budge.
Lieutenant!
I'm working on it.
The Leviathan roars again and shoots another beam directly through the stern of the ship. Lieutenant Sinclair manages to kick the switch to get it to move, and their pod launches from the main ship.
Hang on.
The sub behind them fully blows up, and now the Leviathan is in pursuit of the pods that have escaped.
Where to, Mr. Thatch?
We're looking for a big crevice of some kind.
There, up ahead.
All craft, make your mark. 20 degrees down angle.
Roger, 20 degrees down angle.
Right behind you.
As the Leviathan chases the pods, it crushes one with its claw, and the debris from the hit damages Mole and Vinny's pod.
Sacre bleu!
We're getting killed out here. The Leviathan continues to chase what's left of the crew, but can't follow them into the crevice. It fires off another beam, which directly hits and destroys one pod. The wreckage of that hit takes out another, and the chaos from the explosion caused the second larger escape ship to lose control.
Look out!
The larger ship collides with the wall of the underwater tunnel and is destroyed.
It's only a grease trap. It's just like a sink. It's only a grease trap. It's just like a sink.
As beams are continuing to fire down the crevice, a single subpod containing Mole and the larger escape ship containing the rest of our main characters narrowly escape death and finally emerge in a large underwater cave, just as Milo had described. We see some sort of ancient architecture at the back end of this cavern, with a large opening leading in deeper. We transition to the crew on land, their trucks and vehicles all laid out. We see that their numbers are reduced to less than half of what they were initially. The remaining crew huddle at the water's edge. Sweet kneels down and places a candle inside of a helmet on the water and pushes it off. As the candle floats in the water, the only tribute they can give to their fallen allies, Sweet places a hand over his eyes before rising in solemn remembrance as the others.
7 hours ago, we started this expedition with 200 of the finest men and women I've ever known. We're all that's left. I won't sugarcoat it, gentlemen. We have a crisis on our hands. But we've been up this particular creek before, and we've always come through, paddle or no paddle. I see no reason to change that policy now. From here on in, everybody pulls double duty. Everybody drives. Everybody works. Looks like our chances of survival rest with you, Mr. Thatch. You and that little book.
We're all gonna die.
Okay, people, saddle up. Lieutenant, I want this convoy moving 5 minutes ago.
Moliere, you're on point. No, Vinny. Audrey's taking the oiler. You know the rules. I want you 50 yards behind that truck at all times. And Packard, put out that cigarette.
Milo is gleefully honking the horn on a truck. What a nerd. Rourke, Rourke, not having it, grabs and breaks the horn from the vehicle.
Are you sure you're checked out on this class of vehicle?
Of
Can you drive a truck?
course I can drive a truck. I mean, sure, you got your steering and your gas and your brake, and of course this metal looking thing. Okay, so it was a bumper car at the Coney Island, but it's the same basic principle.
Cut to Milo, who cannot drive the truck. The clutch is impossible for him, and he is holding up the line.
What's the holdup? Come on, move it!
Sorry about that.
Mole honks the horn on the digger.
Come on, civilian!
Cut to Milo, still in the truck, being towed behind the digger. This is where we enter what meaning I guess Dio, calls montage mode. I guess I'd call that too. See, this is a giant and very cool archaeological road trip. There are some very cool sights and wordless storytelling, but describing everything play by play takes a lot of time. So we will just describe the more important stuff and interrupt montage mode for the cute character vignettes that happen here, okay? Okay, this first part of montage mode establishes the intricacies and depth of the journey. There's a split path into the eyes of the giant carved mask-like structure. Milo points left, but there's a giant bug monster. He realizes he was looking at the book upside down and points right. The crew is mad as they travel through more caves and see some things move in the foreground. Cut to Milo drinking from a canteen by Vinny's truck.
You didn't just drink that, did you?
Mm-hmm.
That's not good. That's nitroglycerin. Don't move. Don't breathe. Don't do anything except pray, maybe.
Boom!
Montage mode, engage. More caves. There are some soldiers on the ground wearing gas masks and carrying rifles. Sweet is helping several of the crew members up a cliff, but walks away instead of helping Milo. While the side character crew, Vinny, Sweet, Mole, Packard, Cookie, Vinny, and Audrey, eat a meal around a campfire, Milo eats alone, flipping through books. Sad. The montage mode's goal is to establish that A, this journey is very cool, and B, Milo is a nerd and they don't like him. I'm having flashbacks to my childhood. Oh God. Cut to Milo admiring a large, intricately carved pillar in front of a very wide ravine.
Good night. Will you look at the size of this? It's got to be half a mile at least. It must have taken thousands of years to carve this thing.
Vinny pulls him from the pillar, and we can now see he has explosives all around the base of it. Pulls Milo behind a rock, presses the plunger down on his detonator, and blows the pillar up. It falls over and creates a bridge over the ravine.
Hey, look, I made a bridge. It only took me 10 seconds? 11 tops.
We see those same things run past the foreground, but one stops. We can then see it is approximately humanoid and holding a spear. And then we engage in montage mode, the third. The crew goes through a very snowy part of the cave systems. Figure that one out. But thankfully, they packed winter wear for some reason. We then stop at a large wall obscuring the trail that they were blazing. Cue the montage song from The Road to El Dorado, or don't, because that was a different studio and is copyrighted.
Looks like we have a little roadblock. Vinny, what do you think?
I could unroadblock that if I had about 200 of these. Problem is, I only got about 10. Plus, 5 of my own and a couple cherry bombs, a road flare. Hey, too bad we don't have some nitroglycerin, eh, Milo?
Looks like we're gonna have to dig.
It would be my pleasure.
Mole begins drilling the digger into the wall, but he only gets a little into the wall when it starts sparking, grinding, and finally backfires. The digger stops working and is now smoking.
Oh, stupid! Are you stupid?
Opening up the back of the digger, Audrey begins to examine it with Milo right behind her.
I don't understand it. I just tuned this thing up this morning. It looks like the rotor's shot. I'm gonna have to pull a spare from one of the trucks.
Can I?
No toques nada. I'll be right back.
Milo does the same valve turny hit with wrenchy trick he did at the beginning of the movie to the boiler in the museum. The same hissing and gurgling, and then the digger fires back to life.
Ha! She lives!
Hey, what'd you do?
Well, the boiler in this baby is a Humac model P54 stroke 813. Now, we got the 814 back at the museum. The heating cores of the whole Humac line have always been a little, temperamental. So sometimes you gotta, boom, persuade them a little.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Shut up.
Audrey closes up the back of the digger, then winds up to punch Milo, who flinches.
2 for flinching.
Audrey gives 2 relatively solid punches that definitely hurt Milo more than he'd ever admit, as evidenced by him nursing his arm as soon as she can't see him. Mole is just happy to get to dig.
Ooh. This is Milo.
Typos.
I'm
no!
excited.
Oh!
They're very similar names.
Yeah, they are.
They are. Oh my god. They dig further in, and we transition to a particularly dark part of the cave, where a rock formation that resembles a chandelier is attached to the cave ceiling over a large bridge. A pale green glow emanates from inside of it. Milo compares it to a drawing in the journal.
This is it. It's gotta be.
All right, we'll make camp here.
Why is it glowing?
Pah! It is a natural phosphorescence.
That thing is gonna keep me up all night, I know it.
Transition to later that night. A triangle jangles as Cookie calls everyone for supper. He approaches the campfire with Vinny, Sweet, Packard, Audrey, and Mole, and scoops out ladlefuls of some kind of food slop onto everyone's trays.
Come and get it. For the appetizer, Caesar salad, escargot, and the Oriental spring rolls.
Yuck.
I wanted the escargot.
Knock yourself out.
Cookie heads over to Milo's lonely corner.
There you go, Milo. Put some meat on them bones.
Thanks, Cookie. That looks greasier than usual.
You like it? Well, then have some more. You're so skinny, if you turn sideways and stuck out your tongue, you'd look just like a zipper.
We've been pretty tough on the kid. What do you say we cut him some slack?
Yeah, you're right. Hey, Milo, why don't you come sit with us?
Really? You don't mind?
Nah, park it here.
Gee, this is great. I mean, it's an honor to be included in your...
As Milo sits down, Mole slips a whoopee cushion under him, which makes,
Oh,
no!
Forgive me, I could not resist.
Audrey notices that Milo still has his nose buried in the journal.
Hey, Milo, didn't you ever close that book?
Yeah, you must have read it a dozen times by now.
I know, but this doesn't make any sense. See, in this passage here, the shepherd seems to be leading up to something. He calls it the heart of Atlantis. It could be the power source of the legends referred to, but then it just cuts off. It's almost like there's a missing page.
Kid, relax. We don't get paid overtime.
I know. Sometimes I get a little carried away, but hey, that's what this is all about, right? I mean, discovery, teamwork, adventure, unless maybe you're just in it for the money.
Money.
Hey, I'm gonna say money.
Well, I guess I set myself up for that one.
Milo grunts as he starts rubbing his neck.
What, is something wrong with your neck?
Oh, yeah, I must have heard it when...
Sweet cracks Milo's neck. Two decisive movements coupled with noises from Milo.
Ah, ow.
Better?
Yeah. How'd you learn how to do that?
An Arapahoe's medicine man.
Get out of here.
Born and raised with him. My father was an army medic. He settled down in Kansas Territory after he met my mother.
No kidding.
Nope. I got a sheepskin from Howard U. And a bearskin from the old Ironclad. Halfway through medical school, I was drafted. One day, I'm studying gross anatomy in the classroom. The next, I'm sewing up Rough Riders in San Juan Hill.
Ain't course.
I couldn't eat another bite.
I'm watching my weight.
Don't you worry. It'll keep and keep and keep.
Oh,
Thank God I lost my sense of taste years ago. Because I have COVID.
Oh, man.
Packard stays respectful 6.5 feet away from everyone at the fire.
Social distancing.
Packard puts her cigarette out in her gruel, and everyone except Mole, who has completely cleaned his plate, dumps their food into the fire, where it creates a tiny mushroom cloud.
I think we should cut there.
Yeah.
Because we're entering another big scene.
Oh yeah. Time
Another
for
chonky
another
boy.
commercial break.
Commercial break. We're watching this on Freeform. Just kidding. Much less egregious commercial breaks than Freeform.
Mm-hmm.
Cut to the crew setting up their tents for the night, and Vinny sees the shameful look of whatever Milo is doing.
Aren't you gonna pitch up your tent?
I did.
We see that Milo's tent is very poorly put together and is just not gonna work. Wow, who's had that problem? And Vinny starts helping to straighten it out and make it an actual tent. Okay, Vinny.
I guess I'm still a little rusty at this. I haven't gone camping since, well, the last time my grandpa took me.
I never got to meet your grandfather. What was he like?
Where do you start? He was like a father to me, really. My parents died when I was a little kid, and he took me in.
What?
Well, I was just thinking. One time when I was 8, we were hiking along the stream and saw something shining in the water. It was a genuine arrowhead. Well, you'd think I'd found a lost civilization by the way Grandpa carried on about it. It wasn't until I was older that I realized that the arrowhead was just some compressed slate mixed with zinc pyrite that had fractured into an esoteric triangulate.
That is so cute.
Say, Audrey, though, no offense, but how does a teenager become the chief mechanic of a multi-million-dollar expedition?
Well, I took this job when my dad retired. But the funny thing was he always wanted sons, right? One to run his machine shop and the other to be middleweight boxing champion. But he got me and my sister instead.
So what happened to your sister?
She's 24-0 with a shot at the title next month. Anyway, I'm saving up so my puppy and I can open another shop.
Packard passes by with a cigarette, pillow, magazine, face mask, and curlers, but still wearing her usual fatigues.
Forgot your jammies, Miss Packard?
I sleep in the nude.
Sweet throws a sleeping mask over to Milo.
You're going to want a pair of these. She sleepwalks.
Well, as far as me goes, I just like to blow things up.
Sweet pulls Vinny's sleep mask in front of his eyes.
Come on,
In front
man.
of his eyes. Sorry.
Come on, man. Tell the kid the truth.
Sweet, let's go. And the mask slaps back onto Vinny's face.
My family owned a flower shop. We would sell roses, carnations, baby's breath, you name it. One day, I'm making about 3 dozen corsages for this prom. You know, the one they put on the wrist? And then everybody that come, where is it? When is it? Doesn't match my dress. It's a nightmare. Anyway, I guess there was this leak next door, a gas or what. Boom! No more Chinese laundry. Blew me right through the front window. It was like a sign from God. I found myself that boom.
Mole full-on starts to burrow his way into a little sleeping hole in the ground.
What's Mole's story?
Trust me on this one. You don't want to know. Audrey, don't tell it. You shouldn't have told me, but you did. And now I'm telling you, you don't want to know.
We transition to later. Completely ignoring that, I guess.
Don't worry about it.
The camp is asleep. We hear the sound of Cookie snoring. we see those humanoid figures that have been following the crew for some time now in full. They are each wearing some sort of large blue mask with glowing eyes and mouths. The masks have thick hair all around them that obscure their bodies. All we see are tan arms and legs as one of them begins to search through Milo's bag. Milo emerges from his tent, yawning, causing these mysterious humanoids to retreat. He turns on his flashlight and shows he has a roll of toilet paper. Milo sneaks past a sleeping Cookie who mumbles in his sleep.
The redhead's got a gun.
Milo starts setting up to do his business, but his flashlight shines into the glowing rock formation and smart glowing insects begin. Smart what? Small. I mean, they could be smart. We don't know. Small glowing insects begin to flutter out of it. I was thinking smart, like maybe it's like smart insects, like
I know the theory of relativity.
The smartphone of Atlantis.
Equals MC squared.
Begin to flutter out of it. Several begin to start swarming around Milo, who tries to knock it away with the toilet paper, but when he hits one, it catches fire.
Holy whoa!
Milo then sees as several of these literal fireflies begin landing on people's tents and lighting them on fire. He looks back and sees a whole swarm of them are now moving towards the camp.
Fire! 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 Fire!
Rourke wakes up in his tent to the sound of Milo yelling, "Fire!"
I'm gonna kill him.
Rourke steps outside his tent.
Thatch, go back to bed.
And sees that most of the camp is now on fire.
Get some water on that fire.
No time. Get us into those caves. Move it, move it, move it.
The crew mobilizes as quickly as they can, the digger leading the convoy of rigs forward.
Yeah! Gertie, pull!
The first rigs begin to cross the bridge as Milo is chasing behind a truck that Audrey is in, another truck on fire behind them.
Milo, jump! Right now!
Milo jumps and Audrey pulls him into the truck just in time to miss the truck behind them exploding. Their oiler truck catches fire while on the bridge, explodes, and the bridge itself starts collapsing. The digger starts falling backwards.
No!
The vehicles start to careen backwards, and when they hit the solid ground beneath, they start spinning out of control down deeper into the caves. Everyone is screaming. There is a large crashing noise as we cut to black. The dark is interrupted by Rourke lighting a match.
All right. Who's not dead? Sound off.
Fine.
Dang, Lightning Bug's gonna bit me upon my sit upon. Somebody's gonna have to suck out that poison. Now, don't everybody jump on at once.
I'll do it. I'll do it.
I was going to say, spoken like a true bottom.
Damn.
Opportunity
Audrey.
to suck.
I'll suck anything. I'll blow it. I'll lick whatever, dude.
So Rourke says. So Rourke says.
Audrey, give me the damage report.
Not as bad as it could have been. We totaled rigs 2 and 7. But the digger looks like it'll still run. Lucky for us, we landed in something soft.
Miss Ash, we are standing at the base of a dormant volcano.
Lieutenant Sinclair loads and fires a flare upward. It continues to move further and further up.
It just keeps going.
Maybe that's our ticket out of here.
The flare bursts after some time.
Maybe not.
The magma has solidified in the bowels of the volcano. This accent is going places I did not want it to go. Effectively blocking the exit.
Naomi, you're muted.
I got the same problem with sauerkraut.
Hold on. Back up. Are you saying this whole volcano can blow at any time? No. That would take an explosive force of a great magnitude.
The crew all look to Vinny, currently fiddling with a crudely put together bomb strapped to an alarm clock.
Maybe I should do this later, huh?
We could blow the top of that thing. We'd have a straight shot to the surface. Mr. Thatch, what do you think? Mr. Thatch? Thatch!
Milo starts to slowly regain consciousness away from the rest of the group as we hear voices speaking in a language we know as Atlantean having a discussion. He opens his eyes and sees the glowing eyes of the large masks of these individuals as they poke at his glasses with their spears. He starts to move away from them and notices the cut he received on his chest from the accident. The closest individual lifts their mask, and we see a beautiful young woman with brown skin and white hair. She has blue eyes, some sort of marking under her left eye, and an earring, and very different attire from anything Milo would have seen. She looks concerned for his injury and approaches Milo. She grabs the crystal pendant hanging at her neck. It glows a light blue color. She places it against Milo's injury and then places her hand over it. When she pulls her hand away, we see a glowing blue handprint that, when it fades away, reveals no more injury on Milo's chest. Milo sighs, the mysterious woman smiles and places her mask back on. Suddenly, an eruption of sound coming from the digger activating causes the individuals to run away.
Hey, wait!
Milo begins to chase after these mysterious people, the crew just a little behind him.
Who are you? Where are you going? Come back!
Milo exits the cave and comes to a grassy cliff, but the people he was chasing are not in sight.
Hey, wait a minute! Who are you?
Milo is then agape at the sight before him. As the crew catch up, they also see what Milo is seeing and are in awe of the sight. Before them is a massive waterfall flowing into the magma below. But then at the top of the waterfall sits a nearly perfectly circular raised area of earth. The seawater running down from the waterfall, surrounding an island with structures they can't quite make out. But arriving here after this journey, they all know it to be what they've been looking for.
Sweet mother of Jefferson Davis.
Whoa, it's beautiful.
Milo, I gotta hand it to you. It really came through.
Suddenly, there is a screeching noise from behind them as 5 of the masked individuals jump down from the cliff face behind the crew and point their spears at them.
I take that back.
Holy cats. Who are these guys? They're the cast of Cats. I don't know why I said holy cats in this movie, but I sure did.
Oh, they gotta be Atlanteans.
What? That's impossible.
I seen this back in the Dakota. They can smell fear just by looking at you. So keep quiet.
Yeah, you saw Atlanteans in the Dakota Cookie?
I saw them in the Dakotas.
The masked woman who healed Milo begins speaking Atlantean to the group. We don't get subtitles for this scene, so no pig Latin on this one.
I think it's talking to you.
The masked woman speaks again in Atlantean, clearly posing a question. Milo responds somewhat haltingly with an answer. The woman then removes her mask, and her and Milo exchange a few more sentences in Atlantean before Milo begins trying other languages.
Ita sum ames viator.
He says linguam Romae?
Parlez-vous français?
Oui, monsieur.
They speak my language. Pardon,
It's supposed to
mademoiselle.
be Mole again. I'm sorry. It's
Fuck.
supposed to be
Oh,
Mole.
ha! Yeah, I was gonna say, wait,
Milo
that's
also
Mole.
speaks French.
He probably does, because of course he
He's
does.
a
He just did
linguist.
it.
They
He's
speak
a-
my language. Pardon, mademoiselle. Voulez-vous... Croque monsieur. Je mange une croque
I
monsieur.
forgot copyright. This Atlantean woman full on punches Mole.
Nice.
Oh, I like her.
That's about time someone hit him. I'm just sorry it wasn't me.
The Atlanteans begin greeting and speaking in various languages, with some buenos dias and guten tag and the like being thrown around.
How do they know all these languages?
Their language must be based on a root dialect. It's just like the Tower of Babel.
Maybe English is in there somewhere. We are explorers from the surface world. We come in peace.
Welcome to the city of Atlantis. Come, you must speak with my father now.
Squad B, head back to the shaft and salvage what you can. Yes, sir. We'll rendezvous in 24 hours. Let's move it. You heard him.
Nicely done. The crew begins moving their vehicles across the one very fragile looking rope bridge that connects Atlantis to the land the tunnels are connected to.
I'm so excited.
Then he scoots away from Mole because gross dude. He's so excited, he just can't hide it. The crew continues to follow this group of Atlanteans past ancient stone carvings and mysterious, borderline fantastical animals.
Now, what's really amazing is that if you deconstructed Latin, you overlaid it with a little Sumerian, throw in a little dash of Thessalonian, you'd be getting close to their basic grammatical structure, or at least you'd be in the same ballpark. I'm having a really good time here.
Someone's having a good time.
It's me.
Like a kid at Christmas.
Commander, there were not supposed to be people down here. This changes everything.
This
Take
changes
that.
nothing.
Oh, fuck. Take that, Mr. Harcourt.
The crew pass several more large statues and approach a very tall mountain with a palace built into the very top. Scene changed inside the palace. Two guards open large stone gates and let Milo work and Sinclair in to see the king of Atlantis, much older looking than when we last saw him. His throne room has a large pond between the door and his throne. It has a stone pathway, but despite that and the lily pads and other aquatic plants that spot its surface, my eye here, the water is very clear. The Atlantean woman leads the group before the king and begins speaking to him in their beautiful language. Oh dear Lord. I'm just really quickly seeing if stage directions are going to be a thing. Not on this page. Okay.
Eating's grey, our grey Ines hay. I way avway brought ought bray eve isiters vey.
Okay. Uye okne ithe ole idake. On outsiders way. I Dio. I may say ithe itike and way Ivle or Ivle.
Other fey is they equal pay ite may eBay able way ote elpay usway.
eBay? Ue ode odne idne ir the elpay.
Otbe other fey.
At the isway enough way. Iwe ilway iscuste is the alterday. Aderlay.
Did everyone at home get that? Great.
Yes.
Your Majesty.
We sure didn't.
Your Majesty, on behalf of my crew, may I say it is an honor to be welcomed into your city.
Excuse me, Commander?
You presume much to think you are welcome here.
Sir, we have come a long way looking for it.
I know what you seek, and you will not find it here. Your journey has been in vain.
We are peaceful explorers, men of science.
And yet you bring weapons.
Our weapons allow us to remove obstacles we may encounter.
Some obstacles cannot be removed with a mere show of force. The king stands from his throne, appearing almost strong for his advanced age. Return to your people. You must leave Atlantis at once.
Oh, your Majesty, be reasonable.
Sir?
Not now, son.
Trust me on this. We better do as he says.
May I respectfully request that we stay one night, sir? That would give us time to rest, resupply, and be ready to travel by morning.
Very well. One night, that is all.
Well, thank you, your Majesty.
The trio exits as Kita sighs, clearly wanting a different outcome. After the guards close the large stone doors, the king sits back down and on his throne. Your heart is softened, Kita. 1,000 years ago, you would have slain them on sight.
1,000 years ago, the streets were lit and our people did not have to scavenge for food at the edge of a crumbling city.
The people are content.
They do not know any better. We were once a great people. Now we live in ruins. The kings of our past would weep if they could see how far we have fallen.
Kita.
If these outsiders can unlock the secrets of our past, perhaps we can save our future.
What they have to teach us, we have already learned.
Our way of life is dying.
Our way of life is preserved. Kita, when you take the throne, you will understand. We cut back to the trio exiting the throne to the rest of the crew.
So how'd it go?
Well, the king and his daughter don't exactly see eye to eye. She seems to like us okay, but the king, I don't know. I think he's hiding something.
Well, if he's hiding something, I want to know what it is.
Someone needs to talk to that girl.
Go.
Someone with good people skills.
I will do it.
Oh, sorry, that's supposed to be sweet, not cookie. I fucked up.
Bro, I will do it.
No,
I think that's all. No, I think mole is
Sweet
I
like
will.
this
No, mole is I will do.
Someone who won't scare her away. I volunteer.
Someone who can speak the language.
For the good of the mission, I will go.
Good man, Thatch. Thanks for volunteering.
Go get him, Tiger.
We cut to Milo seeing Kita exit the throne room doors. He begins to rehearse how he's going to speak to her. He rehearses speaking stuff all the time. This is not a special case because he's talking to a woman. He just does this.
Okay, Milo, don't take no for an answer. Look, I have some questions for you, and I'm not leaving this city until they're answered. Yeah, that's it. That's good. That's good.
He looks back to the throne room doors and sees no one there. He steps out from behind the pillar he was watching behind to look, but unbeknownst to him, Kita dropped down right below him silently. Yeah. She grabs Milo from behind and covers his mouth with her hand.
I have some questions for you, and you are not leaving the city until they are answered.
Yeah, well, Okay.
Shh. Come with me.
Kita leads Milo through some ancient stonework overgrown with vines and root and leads him further into some ruins in the city, even more overgrown.
Oh, there is so much to ask about your world. You are a scholar, are you not? Judging from your diminished physique and large forehead, you are suited for nothing else. What is your country of origin? When did the floodwaters recede? How did you...
Wait a minute. I've got a few questions for you, too. So let's do this, okay? You ask one, and then I'll ask you one, and then me, and then, well, you get it.
Very well. What is your first question?
Well, okay. How did you get here? Well, I mean, not you personally, but your culture. I mean, how did all this end up down here?
It is said that the gods became jealous of Atlantis. They sent a great cataclysm and banished us here. All I can remember is the sky going dark and people shouting and running, and then a bright light like a star floating above the city. My father said it called my mother to it. I never saw her again.
I'm sorry. If it's any consolation, I know how you feel because I lost my... Wait a minute. Whoa, back up. What you're telling me that you remember because you were there? No, that's impossible. I mean, that would make you like 85, 800 years old.
Yes.
Oh, well, hey, looking good. Just you got another question for me?
Yes. How is it that you found your way to this place?
Well, I'll tell you, it wasn't easy. If it weren't for this book, we never would have made it.
Book. It just says book.
I forgot to replace the placeholders.
Well, now it just says book.
It says
Book. I was wondering what those messages meant. Book.
I kind of love it, honestly. That's the best part of this whole thing for me so far. Just
book.
Forget that like incredibly detailed Leviathan attack. Book.
Listen,
we are.
I needed to prioritize the climax, and I thought I was going to come back to it later, and I forgot about it.
This is what we got done. This is what breaks us.
Anyway.
Book. Oh, give me a second. I'm sorry.
Power word stun. Book.
Book.
Okay, second question. Legend has it that your people possessed a power source that kind of enabled them.
You mean you can understand this?
Yes, I'm a linguist. That's what I do. That's my job. Now, getting back to my question.
This right here. You can read this.
Yes, I can read Atlantean just like you.
Oh, snap.
You can't, can you?
No one can. Such knowledge has been lost to us since the time of the Eat Grey Udflay.
Oh, the Great Flood.
Show me.
Okay. Alofe Ive Arone Passage Pay.
Follow the narrow passage for another league. There you will find the 5th marker.
Yeah, that's it. How was my accent?
Boorish, provincial, and you speak it through your nose.
Yeah, I gotta work on that.
Here, let me show you something.
Kita pulls off the cover to reveal a large stone carving of a fish with a small inscription pad on its back. It resembles the fish-like vehicles we saw in the opening.
What? It looks like some sort of vehicle.
Yes, but no matter what I try, it will not respond. Perhaps if...
Way ahead of you. Okay, let's see what we got here. Okay, place crystal into slot.
Yes, I have done that.
Gently place your hand on the inscription pad.
Yes.
Okay. Did you turn the crystal 1/4 turn back?
Yes.
While your hand was on the inscription pad?
Yeah. No.
Ah, well, see, there's your problem right there. That's an easy thing to miss. You know, you deserve credit for even getting this far. Okay, give it a try.
Okay, I'm sorry. So she activates the thing and she presses the thing a little too hard and it goes flying and it collides into things, and that's why there's gasps.
Book.
Book Bay.
Yeah, you got that right.
Examine.
Oh,
So sorry.
No, this is great.
if you're
so many
listening,
different
I'm
tabs.
examining.
The gasp is he activates it. They activate it
Examines.
first.
Huh.
Oh,
The
okay,
next-
so it's been
The
activated.
next placeholder is the crash.
Oh.
I'm
Anyway.
a fraud. I'm a charlatan.
It's
Continuing.
okay. We love you. Oh, this is great. With this thing, I could see the whole city in no time at all. I wonder how fast it goes.
Crashing crash sputters.
So, who's hungry?
Climbing.
Alarming.
By the way, we were we were never properly introduced. My name's Milo.
My name is Kida Gakash.
Kida Mashangar. Hey, do you have a nickname?
Kida. Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
fuck, sorry, that's a Milo line.
Yeah, it is.
That's your name, baby. Kida. Okay. I can remember that.
Oh, I love this. Beautiful city. Gonna cry?
Yeah.
My placeholders, guys.
I love this.
Gonna cry.
What's wrong?
Oh, it's nothing. I just got something in my eye. You know, my grandpa used to tell me stories about this place as far back as I can remember.
You're a loser. You're a loser. Gonna cry.
I just wish he could be standing here with me. Blub, blub, blub.
I was gonna say fishy, squid, lobster.
Tell me more about your companions. Your physician. He is called Cookie?
No, that's sweet.
What is?
The doctor. He's sweet.
Oh, he is kindly.
No. That's his name.
His name is Kindly?
I'm sneezing
No.
all over the place.
No, sweet. Well, I mean, he's kindly too.
So all of your doctors are sweet and kindly.
No, well, I'm sure some are. Ours is, but that's not a requirement. You're missing the point.
You're confusing me.
Wow, look at all those tattoos.
Cookie begins lifting up his shirt to reveal his chest with a political map of the United States on his chest and stomach.
It's literally, it's not geographical. It's a political, it's pink and purple states. Shoot, that ain't nothing. Look at what I got here. All 38 United States.
Watch me make Rhode Island dance. Go on, baby, dance.
Dear God. Slap the belly, old man belly dance. Audrey hates it.
Everyone hates it.
Everyone disliked that.
Yeah, Fallout text.
Ooh, a fun fact.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear Cookies. There you go, but that's fine.
There you go. Yeah.
Fun fact, Cookies
Get out of here,
38
Uncle
United
Ruckus.
Oh God, fun fact, Cookie's 38 United States tattoo is out of date even in the movie's time. By 1914, all 48 contiguous states had joined the Union. Cookie must have gotten his tattoo between the August of 1876, when Colorado became the 38th state to join the Union, and November of 1889, when the Dakota Territory split into North and South Dakota, and they both joined as the 39th and 40th states of the Union. Anyway, scene transition to a large feast.
Cookies are sweet, but yours is not. Sweet is kindly, but that's not his name. Audrey is sweet, but she's not your doctor. And the little digging animal is called Mole. He is your pet?
Close enough.
Oh, don't forget to eat the head. That's where all the nutrients are.
Okay. Cut to the crew's convoy. Soldiers breathing through gas masks approach and grab rifles from a crate. It's a bad vibe.
It's a bad vibe.
You know, Kita, the most we ever hoped to find was some crumbling buildings, maybe some broken pottery. Instead, we find a living, thriving society.
Playing with those fireflies. Smart bugs.
These guys are kind of cute when they're not, formed into a fiery column of death.
We are not thriving. True, our people live, but our culture is dying. We are like a stone the ocean beats against. With each passing year, a little more of us is worn away.
I wish there was something I could do.
I have brought you to this place to ask for your help. There is a mural here with writing all around the pictures.
Yeah, well, you came to the right guy. Okay, let me see. Let's start with this column right here. Well, this, Kita? What are you doing?
And on that note, I think we need to take another commercial break.
There you go.
Hey,
Leave
that's
the
some
people
low-hanging
wanting
fruit right
more.
there, y'all.
God, I'm coming back for more.
In
Is that a
shot,
Megamind reference?
in a shot
Oh.
that made straight boys, men, and straight girls at least a little bi. Kita is removing the outermost layer of her bottoms, now wearing something resembling a bikini.
You do swim, do you not?
Humna, humna, humna. Oh, I swim. Oh, I swim pretty. I don't like how he's. I swim
he's
pretty.
over his
Oh,
words.
he's fucking
Yeah.
it. Okay, I was like, don't hit on her. Oh, I swim pretty, girl. Pretty good. Pretty good. Swim good. Swim good. Pretty good. I swim pretty good.
You like my swimming.
Good. It is a fair distance to where we are going.
Hey, you were talking to the belly flopped champ at Camp Runamuck. Oof.
Boxers inflated. That's why he oofed.
Oh, yeah. I know exactly what shot you're talking about.
Because of the water. His box is inflated because of the water.
The water. I didn't fart. I just.
Oh, that's not what I was thinking.
Jessica.
Aren't you gonna pitch your tent?
You guys did this to me. You all did this to
Help.
me.
Please help.
I think
Send the help.
Okay, so
come on, we're wasting time.
Milo
Okay, they
resurfaces
swim
the
and
gas
then they
bag.
come back up in a cave.
Why don't you lead the way? Because I have no idea where we're going.
Kita dives underwater, followed shortly by Milo. They swim through the depths of the water and resurface in a small cave that Milo bumps his head on.
Are you all right?
Well, I didn't drown, so
Good. Follow me.
They go back under, the glow of Kita's crystal illuminating the large underwater mural. Milo reads some script on the mural before resurfacing in the cave with Kita.
This is amazing. A complete history of Atlantis. It's just like Plato's described it. Well, he was off on a few details, but...
The light I saw, the star in the middle of the city. What does the writing say about that?
I don't know yet, but we're gonna find out. Come on.
They dive back under, and Milo continues to read the mural. We see renditions of old men in fine robes, standing in a circle surrounding a large blue crystal. Milo grabs Kita's crystal and excitedly points at it, then points to the surface. They resurface into the cave.
The heart of Atlantis.
What?
It's the heart of Atlantis. That's what the shepherd was talking about. It wasn't a star. It was some kind of crystal, like these. Don't you get it? The power sources I've been looking for, the bright light you remember, they're the same thing.
That cannot be.
It's what's keeping all of these things, all of Atlantis alive.
Then where is it now?
I don't know. You'd think something this important would have been in the journal, but unless the missing page.
Cut to where Milo and Kita enter the water. Milo emerges with a large gasp and is face to face with Commander Rourke.
Have a nice swim.
Camera zooms out and we see the rest of the crew all wielding guns and looking much more menacing than they have been previously shown to look, I guess. Yeah.
Hey guys, what's going on? What's with all the guns, guys? I am such an idiot. This is just another treasure hunt for you. You're after the crystal.
Oh, you mean this? I pull out the missing page of the book.
The book?
Come on. The heart of Atlantis.
Yeah, about that. I would have told you sooner, but it was strictly on a need-to-know basis, and, well, now you know. I had to be sure you were one of us. Welcome to the club, son.
I'm no mercenary.
Kita emerges from the water, and one of the soldiers grabs her hair and pulls her out of the water. God, that sounds terrible. I forgot about that. She starts fighting several of the men and ends up pinning one to the ground. Oh my God, this is a movie for kids, sort of. She pulls out a knife, but Rourke shoots the knife out of her hand. Oh my God. This is then restrained by Rourke's men, but not before getting she is then restrained by Rourke's men, but not before getting a solid kick into that soldier's groin. This is still a kids movie.
Mercenary. Yep. I prefer the term adventure capitalist. Besides, you're the one who got us here. You led us right to the treasure chest.
You don't know what you're tampering with, Rourke.
What's to know? It's big, it's shiny, it's gonna make us all rich.
You think it's some kind of diamond. I thought it was some kind of battery, but we're both wrong. It's their life force. That crystal is the only thing keeping these people alive. You take that away and they'll die.
Well, that changes everything. Helga, what do you think?
Knowing that, I'd double the price.
I was thinking triple.
Rourke, don't do this.
Academics, you never want to get your hands dirty. Think about it. If you gave back every stolen artifact from a museum, you'd be left with an empty building. We're just providing a necessary service to the archaeological community.
I'm not interested.
Got to admit, I'm disappointed. You're an idealist, just like your grandfather. Do yourself a favor, Milo. Don't be like him. For once, do the smart thing.
Milo holds firm, clearly immensely pissed at this whole prospect.
I really hate it when negotiations go sour.
Rourke snaps his finger and a gun is pointed at Kita and cocked.
Let's try this again.
Cut to inside the king's throne room. The large stone doors explode open, revealing Vinny and other members of the crew who had breached the door.
Knock, knock.
Room service.
Tell them to drop their weapons. Now.
Oh, Updre Oye Eppin's way. The king's guards drop their spears, and Lieutenant Sinclair starts giving orders to the crew.
Spread out. Search everywhere.
The crew is absolutely tearing the room apart, but finding no signs of any large crystal.
You're not applying yourself, son. There's got to be something else.
Well, there isn't. It just says the heart of Atlantis lies in the eyes of her king.
Well, then maybe old King Cole here can help us fill in the blanks. How about it, Chief? Where's the crystal chamber?
You will destroy yourselves.
Maybe I'm not being clear.
Rourke punches the old king directly in his stomach, still a kid's movie, and the king instantly collapses.
Okay.
Sweet kneels down and starts to examine the king.
Rourke, this was not part of the plan.
Plans changed, Doc. I suggest you put a bandage on that bleeding heart of yours. It doesn't suit a mercenary.
Rourke lounges on the king's throne and cocks his gun.
Well, as usual, diplomacy has failed us. Now I'm going to count to 10, and you're going to tell me where the crystal is. 1, 2, 9, 10.
Rourke is stopped by seeing that a stone pattern in the pond resembles the glyph on the front of the shepherd's journal.
The heart of Atlantis lies in the eyes of her king. This is it. We're in.
Rourke and Sinclair begin pulling Milo and Kita into the pond towards the glyph.
Rourke, for the last time, you've got to listen to me. You don't have the slightest idea what this power is capable of.
True, but I can think of a few countries who'd pay anything to find out.
Rourke stands on a platform of stone invisible to anyone not in the pond. It begins to descend with a loud grinding sound.
Hurry, get on.
Rourke pulls Milo onto the platform, followed by Sinclair pulling Kita. They descend into a deep cavern where the large blue ball of energy we saw in the opening floats high in the air. It is surrounded by several stone faces that resemble old men with beards.
Jackpot.
Oh, the kings of our past.
Kita falls to her knees, bows her head, and begins muttering in Atlantean.
Thatch, tell her to wrap it up. We got a schedule to meet.
Milo begins to pick Kita off the ground.
Kita, I'm sorry.
Rourke kicks a rock into the pool of water beneath the energy. The energy turns red, and we hear chanting voices in Atlantean begin to fill the cave.
Come on. Let's get this over with. I don't like this place.
The red light turns to blue, and the chanting stops.
All right, that's what's next.
Okay, there's a giant crystal hovering 150 feet above our heads over a bottomless pit of water. Doesn't anything surprise you?
During Milo and Rourke's conversation, the crystal on Kita's neck begins to raise towards the energy, and her eyes begin to glow, glowing a light blue, not unlike her mother in the opening.
The only thing that surprises me is you're still talking.
Other May.
And that thing's not on the truck yet. Now move it.
I don't know how to move it. I don't even know what's holding it up there.
Kita walks past the other three in a trance and stops at the water's edge.
Talk to me, Thatch. What's happening?
Look, all it says here is that the crystal is alive somehow. I don't know how to explain it. It's their deity. It's their power source.
Speak English, Professor.
They're part of it. It's part of them. I'm doing the best I can here.
Well, do better.
Oh, I know. Why don't you translate and I'll wave the gun around?
Kita speaks in a voice or voices that are both not her own and still her.
Alway, ilway, eBay, elway, ilmai, I achthe, eBay, oltne, afraid way.
What did she say?
I don't know. I didn't catch it.
Kita starts walking on the surface of the water towards the energy. As she reaches a spot directly under it, the stone heads begin moving away from the energy, and the beams of light converge on Kita, and she is lifted up into the air towards the energy, just like her mother. The stone heads close back around the energy and begin moving faster and faster, and then begin moving away from the energy again, until it has coalesced into a glowing energy version of Kita. The stones slow as Kita slowly lowers onto the water's surface. Milo starts to move towards the water, but is stopped by Rourke.
Hold your horses, lover boy.
Kita.
This Kita-shaped energy opens her eyes.
Kita.
The energy then begins walking across the water, and the stone faces begin crashing into the water. Any water splashing towards the energy is stopped by some sort of invisible force field. As she gets back onto the land, Rourke reaches a hand out to her.
No, don't. Don't touch her.
Cut to the convoy. Kita is loaded into a giant metal container with a glass window and loaded onto a truck.
All right, step back.
Sergeant, keep those people back.
You heard them. Step back, I'm warning you.
So this is how it ends, huh? Fine. You win. You're wiping out an entire civilization, but hey, you'll be rich.
During this scene, we can see Milo's friends on the crew grow more conflicted with their actions here.
Congratulations, Audrey. Guess you and your dad will be able to open up that second garage after all. And Vinny, you can start a whole chain of flower shops. Sure, your family is going to be very proud, but that's what it's all about, right? Money.
Get off your soapbox, Thatch. You've read Darwin. It's called natural selection. We're just helping it along.
Commander, we're ready.
Yeah, give me a minute. I know I'm forgetting something. I got the cargo, got the crystal, the crew. Oh, yeah.
Rourke punches Milo square in the face. The photo of young Milo and his grandfather falls from his bag. Rourke steps on the frame, breaking the glass while wiping Milo's glasses that he knocked off. Milo's friends on the crew are very much not happy seeing their nerdy buddy get hit.
Look at it this way, son. You were the man who discovered Atlantis, and now you're part of the exhibit. Let's move, people.
Audrey hesitates to start the truck she is driving.
That was an order, not a suggestion. Let's go.
Audrey is clearly conflicted, but then sighs, kicks open the door of her truck, and steps out facing Milo. She walks over to him and helps pick him up as he collects his photo from the frame. Seeing this, Vinny confidently strides to Milo's side and puts his arm around him. Cookie and Mole follow shortly behind. Packard takes a big drag from her cigarette before casting it aside.
We're all gonna die.
She then joins the others around Milo.
Oh, you can't be serious.
This is wrong, and you know it.
We're this close to our biggest payday ever, and you pick now, of all times, to grow a conscience?
We've done a lot of things we're not proud of. Robbing graves, plundering tombs, double parking, but nobody got hurt. Well, maybe somebody got hurt with the double parking, but nobody would know.
Well, if that's the way you want it, fine. More for me. P.T. Barnum was right.
The trucks ignite. And
he would be a P.T. Barnum fan, wouldn't he?
He would. Oh, God.
Classic.
I'm assuming he's talking about the sucker born every minute line,
Yeah.
which for the record is not P.T. Barnum. It was just
Well, he's not
attributed to
smart
him.
either.
That's very true. The trucks ignite, and the remainder of Rourke's men move out. Milo begins to chase after them as they start getting to the end of the bridge.
We can't let him do this.
Wait a second.
Rourke blows up the bridge with explosive likely planted by Vinny.
Okay, now you can go.
Milo, you better get up here.
Cut to the throne room where Sweet has been tending to the king. Milo and Sweet stand before the king lying on his throne.
How is he doing?
Not good, I'm afraid. Internal bleeding. There's nothing more I can do.
What a nightmare. And I brought it here.
Don't go beating yourself up. He's been after that crystal since Iceland.
The crystal. Sweet. That's it. These crystals, they have some sort of healing energy. I've seen it work.
No. Where is my daughter?
Well, she
She has been chosen, like her mother before her.
What?
In times of danger, the crystal will choose a host, one of royal blood, to protect itself and its people. It will accept no other.
Wait a minute. Choose? So this thing is alive.
In a way, the crystal thrives on the collective emotions of all who came before us. In return, it provides power, longevity, protection. As it grew, it developed a consciousness of its own. In my arrogance, I sought to use it as a weapon of war, but its power proved too great to control. It overwhelmed us and led to our destruction.
That's why you hid it beneath the city, to keep history from repeating itself.
And to prevent Kita from suffering the same fate as my beloved wife.
What What do you mean? What's going to happen to Kita?
If she remains bonded to the crystal, she could be lost to it forever. The love of my daughter is all I have left. My burden would have become hers when the time was right, but now it falls to you.
Me?
Return the crystal. Save Atlantis. Save my daughter. Live long and prosper. The king's hand falls from Milo. Sorry. I couldn't. I'm sorry. I ruined it. I'm sorry. The king's hand falls from Milo's. I would know who am I kidding. I regret nothing. Who he has entrusted his crystal to. We see him breathe his final breath as the rule of King. Kashigam Nick. Oh God, Nidar?
I looked up his real name just for this line to fuck with you.
I hate you. I just feel like I don't want to offend anyone. Jeez, it seems like such
all
a nice
the
name.
Atlanteans in our viewership, they're going to be real peeved about that one.
I don't know where this language was derived
Hey man, if we
from.
see
Okay.
Kashakim Nadak.
Anyway, King Nadak ends. Sweet begins packing away his medical equipment and takes a deep breath to refocus himself from a clear sadness.
So what's it going to be?
Excuse me?
I followed you in, and I'll follow you out. It's your decision.
Oh, my decision. Well, I think we've seen how effective my decisions have been. Let's recap. I lead a band of plundering vandals into the greatest archaeological find in recorded history, thus enabling the kidnap and or murder of the royal family, not to mention personally delivering the most powerful force known to man into the hands of a mercenary nutcase who's probably going to sell it to the Kaiser. Have I left anything out?
Well, you did set fire to the camp and drop us down that big hole.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Of course. It's been my experience that when you hit bottom, the only place left to go is up.
Who told you that?
A fellow by the name of Thaddeus Thatch.
Milo looks at the crystal given to him by the king, grips it in his hand, steals himself. I guess.
Yes.
Yes, this is correct.
That expression.
Like,
Turn yourself to steel.
Oh, dang. I learned something new today.
It's like when you ready yourself.
Like strengthen your back, your posture.
Oh, dang. Okay, grips it in his hand, steals himself, and moves out. At the bottom of the stairs, he walks past his friends.
Where are you going?
I'm going after Rourke.
Milo, that's crazy.
I didn't say it was the smart thing, but it is the right thing.
Come on. You better make sure he doesn't hurt himself.
Milo's friends see him climbing onto one of those fish vehicles.
Milo, what do you think you're doing?
Just follow my lead.
Milo activates the vehicle.
Wow, I'm impressed.
It's simple. All you got to do.
Yeah. Shut up. We get it, okay?
Audrey starts laying a hand on the inscription pad.
No, wait.
The vehicle backs up and rams into a wall.
Gently. Just gently.
Hey, Milo, you got something sporty? Like a tuna?
Who's Atlantean guard?
How is this done?
Oh.
There he is.
It's Toan.
Got it.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I cut out. Did you say the line?
Yes.
Yeah,
How is this done?
All you got to do is use the crystals. Kita showed me. A half turned right and a quarter turned back. Keep your hand on the pad.
I'll form the head.
God. Many Atlanteans and Milo's friends begin starting up these fish-like vehicles.
Saddle up, partners. Bring jerky and ammo.
I'm so excited.
All right. This is it. We're going to save the princess. We're going to save Atlantis. Or we're going to die trying. Now let's do it.
Atlanteans cheer in the streets as the group of Atlantean warriors and Milo's friends move out in the dormant volcano. A soldier launches a missile up towards the top. We see an explosion followed by a beam of light. Rourke stands in the light, basking.
I love it when I win.
Okay, here's the plan. We're going to come in low and fast and take them by surprise.
Well, I've got news for you, Milo. Rourke is never surprised, and he's got a lot of guns.
Great. Well, do you have any suggestions?
Yeah, don't get shot.
Milo's group approaches Rourke's as they chain Kita's container to the bottom of the large hot air balloon. Remember that from the minis?
There they are.
We've got company.
Lena. Sergeant.
Oh.
Take off.
Take her up.
We see that Rourke's men actually have full-on biplanes, and they begin a dogfight against Milo's group.
Holy smokes! You told me he only had guns.
What I said was he's never surprised.
The dogfight continues. The action is super cool. Trust me, we just don't have the time to give a play-by-play. Finney accidentally discovers that these fish vehicles can shoot beams of energy like the Leviathan and destroys one of Rourke's trucks.
Okay, now things are getting good.
Finney, heads up. We can't let them reach the top of the shaft.
Milo is shot. Sorry, God. Milo is shot as
Can't let him reach the bobber head.
The bottom of my shaft. I mean,
damn it. You did this to me.
When they get to the top of the shaft, they're gonna shoot out of it.
It's not the only thing shooting out of the top of the shaft.
This is a kid's movie.
Meanwhile, Kita in a blimp. I am dying.
Milo is shot as the action keeps on happening. Oh God, Milo was shot. Okay.
At.
Oh, we
Shot
actually
at.
see.
Oh, okay.
Oh, shot at. My bad.
Shot and dying.
I'm dying. Okay.
I'm also dying.
My brain's dying. We only have like 10 minutes. Let's go. Milo is shot at as the action keeps on happening. We actually see that the biplanes are launched into the air by a large ballista looking thing.
Vinny, that's pretty sick, bro. Not gonna lie. But there's a new plan. You and me, we're going to be the decoys. Audrey, Sweet, fly up underneath that thing and cut her loose.
We're on it.
As Milo and Vinny approach the balloon, Rourke points to their vehicles.
Lieutenant!
Sinclair begins shooting at them. Audrey is having trouble sawing the chains.
I thought you said they could cut through a femur in 28 seconds.
Let's talk more saw.
Sinclair throws her gun away now that it is empty. And Rourke notices Audrey and Sweet below.
Looks like somebody's working overtime.
Sinclair drops one of the bombs attached to the balloon towards the pair.
Come on, girl. Time's up.
Whoa! They narrowly escape the bomb.
All right, Milo, this is it. Any last words? Yeah, I really wish I had a better idea than this.
Milo rams into the balloon and it starts sinking out of the air.
We're losing altitude. Lighten the load.
That's it, unless someone wants to jump.
Ladies first.
Rourke throws its lieutenant overboard, but she catches herself on a supporting bar, swings back up, and kicks Rourke square on the face. Hell yeah.
You said we were in this together. You promised me a percentage.
Rourke catches her foot before she can kick him again.
Next time, get it in writing.
Sinclair is thrown from the balloon, but this time can't grab onto anything.
Rourke!
Nothing personal.
Milo descends from the top of the balloon and kicks Rourke down into the lower layer of the balloon, but Rourke quickly starts beating his ass. Sorry. Okay, go.
Well, I have to hand it to you. You're a bigger pain in the neck than I would have thought possible. I consider myself an even-tempered man. It takes a lot to get under my skin, but congratulations. You just won the solid gold Cupid doll.
As they continue to fight, he has some weird expressions.
Oh, okay. Solid gold?
Holy cats, I'm gonna kick your ass.
As they continue to fight, Milo moves down the chain towards Kita's container. On the ground, Sinclair uses the last of her strength to pull out her flare gun and be very petty, which I, meaning Dio, respect. I also respect it.
Nothing personal.
Yeah. She fires a flare into the balloon that catches fire. Rourke is pissed and grabs the emergency fire axe to kill a nerd. He swings at Milo, who by now is at Kita's container. Rourke strikes the glass window, shattering it. Milo notices the glass is glowing similarly to Kita. He grabs a shard of it.
Tired, Mr. Thatch? Ha! Oh, that's a darn shame because I'm just getting warmed up.
Milo cuts Rourke's arm with the shard and he starts to transform into a similar crystal being and slowly stops moving.
Thank heaven.
Rourke's crystal self lives, but doesn't notice he's about to hit the propeller on his flying contraption and explodes. Wah wah. One of Rourke's shards breaks Kita's chains.
Yep. That man is just dead.
Well, dang.
Fresh.
Rip, not really. Milo lands on the ground and sees the wreckage from the balloon about to hit him.
Oh, great.
Milo manages to move Kita's container out of the way, but then everyone starts to feel a rumbling and magma begins coming out of the ground.
Okay, no, still winks.
Hey, I had nothing to do with it.
This here would be a good place not to be.
No, wait. We gotta get her back or the whole city will die.
And if we don't get out of here, we'll die.
It's the only way to reverse this. Just do it.
They begin flying away, towing Kita behind, but the circle on top of the cage breaks and her container is loose. Milo jumps back down.
Milo, no!
Milo ties the chain around her container.
Go!
The crew narrowly avoids magma death as they get back to Atlantis. Milo begins to open Kita's container with a spear.
The diffuser! I thought it was Milo! It was about to inject its pyroclastic fury!
Also, this is supposed to be sweet, not cookie. I don't know why I got them confused. I did the Kita thing, I guess.
Milo! Mo says the wall's about to blow.
Okay, so what happens is...
Just so everyone knows.
Gosh, Dio.
Just so everyone knows, in this point in the script, it is written, just have Dio describe this. It's sick.
So Milo uses the Atlantean spear to bust open Kita's cage, and immediately she starts glowing and like floating up to the center of the city. And when that happens, the stone faces they come up from like that secret cave and they poke up through and they start floating around with her. And then those big stone guy statues that made the force field earlier, they all activate because they're still there. They're just way on the outskirts. They all activate and they all like clap their hands and start projecting this force field. And just as the magma's coming, the magma like encloses over the force field, and then it all hardens and turns like to black rock, and then suddenly from the top of the force field this like blue energy starts like crackling around the outside, and there's these like geometric patterns in the dried lava, and then it just starts like crumbling away as the force field like disappears, and everyone looks out and they're like, whoa, I can't believe that just happened. And then Kita descends from the sky, not covered in the energy, and then Milo like catches her and she comes back to normal, and she wakes up from her grogginess and she says,
Milo?
The crew all look out to see the beautiful scenery one last time. Skip ahead to the crew's departure. They all have Atlantean crystals on their necks.
Naomi, I think you're still muted if you're...
Atlantis will honor your names forever. I only wish there was more we could do for you.
Thanks anyway.
So they have a nice new ship and a butt ton of gold.
But I think we're good.
It'll only take you as far as the surface.
We're really going to miss you, Milo.
I'm going to reopen a flower shop, and I'm going to think of you guys every single day, Monday through Friday, Saturday until 2:00. Sunday, I'm going to take Sunday off probably, and maybe I'll go in for a couple hours, but August, I'm going to take August.
I ain't so good at speechifying, but I wanted you to have this. It's the bacon grease from the whole trip.
Cookie,
Yeah.
Audrey jumps from behind Milo and kisses him on the cheek. Aw. Then she then winds up to punch him, and of course he flinches.
Two for flinching.
She gives him 2 light jabs to his arm.
Oh.
See ya, Milo.
Hey, Milo.
Mole offers a large hug, but he nasty.
I have rolled in dirt for this exact occasion.
Mole. Wow. Hey, well, goodbye, Mole.
Pats Mole on the head.
Pat.
God damn it, this is supposed to be sweet. All these lines are sweet. Fucking shit.
I'm sorry. Do you want me to say it nicer?
I have received a pat. I may now transcend.
No. I meant the cookie lines.
Cookie lines are supposed to be sweet.
We're all confused.
It's the Kita thing. No.
Okay. Now, are you sure you want to stay? There's a hero welcoming for the man who discovered Atlantis.
I don't think the world needs another hero. Besides, I hear there's an opening down here for an expert in gibberish.
You take good care of yourself, Milo Thatch.
Yeah, you too, sweet.
Come here.
Sweet wraps Milo in a giant bear hug.
Sweet, before you go, could you...
Yeah, no problem.
Sweet cracks Milo's neck like before.
Goes,
Oh, thanks. I'm sorry.
Oh, thanks. I'm not a bottom.
Oh, you're getting a bill.
Findoming.
Can we go home now?
Come on, y'all. Let's get one last shot in front of the fish. Say, ease, Jay.
Jay! Camera shutter clicks. It's a bad photo of the group. Cut to Whitmore talking with Milo's friends. They are dressed in the finest clothes and jewels.
God damn it. We're going to have to do like a 5-minute call for this last bit.
God dang it.
It'll
be worth it though.
So
We'll
worth
be right
it.
back.
After this commercial break.
I have to find this voice.
So where were we? Oh yes, they're all fancy now.
Yes. Now, let's go over it again, just so we got it straight. You didn't find anything?
Nope, just a lot of rocks and fish. Little fish, sponges.
What happened to Helga?
Sponges.
Little fish.
I'm setting that to my
pineapple under the sea.
Dude, James, I'm setting that for my text tone. That's amazing. So what happened to Helga?
Well, we lost her when a flaming zeppelin come down on her, and I get hit by someone. I'm like, missing.
That's right. And Rourke?
Sweet says this line.
Nervous breakdown. You could say he went all to pieces.
In fact, you could say he was transamorgified and then busted into his... He's missing too.
What about Milo?
He went down with the sub.
Mole burrows into a potted plant.
Lord, give me strength.
I think that might have been Sweet too. I don't know.
Nice.
Oh, I'm going to miss that boy. At least he's in a better place now.
He opens a letter, and the letter is like a picture, and it has these words written on it, and also an Atlantean crystal.
Dear Mr. Whitmore, I hope this piece of proof is enough for you.
And then Mr. Whitmore puts the crystal on, and Whitmore is very happy about it because like his mission wasn't in vain, and it's great. And then it cuts down to Milo and Kita in Atlantis, and Atlantis looks all nice and fixed up, and he's hand carving another one of those giant head sculpture things, and it's King Nadakaba, Kita's dad, and it ignites and flies up into the city and takes formation with the other heads that we see are now just floating atop the city with like the little floating energy. And Milo's starting to get like he's got like Atlantean tattoos. And I think there's like a picture that like Fluffy is somehow in Atlantis, but I don't know how Fluffy got to Atlantis.
I've been wondering. I put it in the chat. I was like, where did my cat go?
Yeah, I was gonna say, wait, is that for real though?
Sprinkle logic.
There's a picture with Fluffy being, or no, it's either a picture of Fluffy in Atlantis or Fluffy is with like the crew as they're like debriefing their fake story with Whitmore.
It's one or the other.
Yeah, I can't remember which, but yeah, Atlantis looks super cool and beautiful. People are flying in giant fish things now. And then in this script that I deleted because someone took the Disney Plus subtitles, they had the subtitles to whatever pop song was playing in the credits. And I thought that was very funny, but I decided to delete it.
How dare you?
That's pretty good.
And that is Atlantis: The Lost Empire.
Woo!
It was a fever dream and a half. I lost sleep trying to put this thing together, but that's A-okay. I'll do it again. I'll do it again.
No, you won't.
Just try to fucking stop me.
I will come to your house and personally knock you out.
Actually, we might be doing this again.
Stay tuned for next month.
Hey, and if not next month, we will figure it out. It will
Let's just
happen.
say, just say I'd like to talk to you about the Avengers Initiative.
Why?
Ooh.
My name's Bingus Bongus, and I'd like to talk to you about the Avengers Initiative.
In Avenger Initiative.
Avenger.
Bingus Bongus.
Book. Okay.
Book.
Book.
So that's that. That was pretty cool, pretty fun. If you liked it, cool. If you didn't, cool. I guess that's your opinion. Go watch the original movie. It's much better, probably.
Fair. Yeah.
Sounds like a personal problem.
The original movie doesn't have book.
Book.
Okay.
You have to look at a book. That's so boring.
Take a look
I'm
at
gonna do a
book.
Oh.
It's the Reading Rainbow.
Well, I guess this is it. Everybody say bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.